Hello, Shalom. Welcome back to day 95 of Daily Bread. We'll be reading in Leviticus chapter 17. We'll be starting 1 Kings chapter 1, moving then to Psalms 95, Proverbs 5, and finishing up with the book of John chapter 12. That's not the end of John, but finishing today. We'll be reading from the Scriptures 2009 version. Leviticus chapter 16 on page 121. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aaron, as they drew near before Yahweh and died. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Speak to Aaron your brother, not to come in at all times to the set apart place inside the veil, before the lid of atonement, which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. With this Aaron should come into the set apart place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as an ascending offering. He should put on the set apart linen long shirt with the linen trousers on his flesh, and gird himself with a linen girdle, and be dressed with the linen turban. They are set apart garments. He shall bathe his body in water, and he shall put them on. And from the congregation of the children of Israel he takes 2 male goats as a sin offering, and 1 ram as an ascending offering. And Aaron shall bring the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. He shall take 2 goats, and let them stand before Yahweh at the door of a tent of appointment. And Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for Yahweh, and the other lot for Azazel. And Aaron shall bring the goat on which the lot for Yahweh fell, and shall prepare it as a sin offering. But the goat which is the lot for Azazel fell is caused to stand alive before Yahweh, to make atonement upon it, to send it into the wilderness to Azazel. And Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall slay the bull as the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make a fire holder filled with burning coals of fire from the slaughter place before Yahweh, with his hands filled with sweet incense, beaten fine, and shall bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Yahweh, and a cloud of incense shall cover the lid of atonement, which is on the witness, lest he die. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it with his finger on the lid of atonement, on the east side. Also, in front of the lid of atonement, he sprinkles some of the blood with his finger 7 times. And he shall slay the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, and shall bring its blood inside the veil, and shall do with the blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the lid of atonement, and in front of the lid of atonement. And he shall make atonement for his set apart place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgression and all their sins. And so he does for the tent of appointment, which is dwelling with them in the midst of their uncleanness. And no man should be in the tent of appointment when he goes in to make atonement in the set apart place until he comes out. And he shall make atonement for himself, and for his household, and for the assembly of Israel. And he shall go out to the slaughter place that is before Yahweh, and make atonement for it. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull, and some of the blood of the goat, and put it on the horns of the slaughter place all around. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it, and set it apart from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he has finished atoning for the set apart place, and the tent of appointment, and the slaughter place, he shall bring the live goat. Then Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and shall confess over all the crookedness of the children of Israel, and their transgressions, and all their sins, and shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a fit man. And the goat shall bear on itself all their crookedness to a land cut off. Thus he shall send the goat away into the wilderness. Aaron shall come into the tent of appointment, and shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the set apart place, and shall leave them there. And he shall bathe his body in water in the set apart place, and shall put on his garments, and shall come out and prepare his ascending offering, and the ascending offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people, and burn the fat of the sin offering on the slaughter place. And he who sent away the goat to Hazael washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterwards he comes into the camp. And the bull for the sin offering, and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the set apart place, is brought outside the camp. And they shall burn their skins, and their flesh, and their dung with fire. And he who burns them washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterwards comes into the camp. And this shall be for you a law forever. In the 7th new moon, on the 10th day of the new moon, you will afflict your beings, and do no work. The native or the sojourner who sojourns with you, stranger. For on that day he makes atonement for you, to cleanse you, to be clean from your sins before Yahweh. It is a Sabbath day. It is a Sabbath of rest for you, and you shall afflict your being a law forever. And the priest who was anointed and ordained to serve as priest in his father's place shall make atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, the set apart garments, and he shall make atonement for the most set apart place, and make atonement for the tent of appointment, and for the slaughter place, and make atonement for the priest, and for all the people of the assembly. And this be for you a law forever, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as Yahweh had commanded. That's Yom Kippur. Moving on to 1 Kings chapter 1 on page 346. And the sovereign David was old, advanced in years, and they covered him in garments, but he could not get warm. So his servants said to him, Let them seek for our master, the sovereign, a young woman, a maiden, and she shall stand before the sovereign, and be his companion, and shall lie in his and lie in your bosom, so that our master, the sovereign, gets warm. And they sought for a beautiful woman, young woman, in all the border of Israel, and found Abish, the Summerite, and brought her to the sovereign. And the young woman was very beautiful, and she was a companion for the sovereign and served him, but the sovereign did not know her. And Adadon, son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I reign, and he prepared for himself a chariot and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. Now his father had not worried him at any time by saying, Why have you done so? He was also very good looking, and was born after Absalom. And he talked with Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with Abion the priest, and they supported Adon. But Sadok the priest, and Ben-Yahal, son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei and Rai, and the mighty men who belonged to David were not with Abidan. And Abidan slaughtered sheep and cattle and fattening by the stone of Zoath, which is by En Rogel. He also invited all his brothers, the sovereign sons, and all the men of Judah, servants of the sovereign. But he did not invite Nathan the prophet, or Ben-Yehu, or the mighty men, or Solomon his brother. Nathan then spoke to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Have you heard that Adon, son of Haggith, has become sovereign, and David, our master, does not know it? And now let me give you advice, and deliver your own life and the life of your son Solomon. Go immediately to sovereign David, and say to him, Did you not, my master, O sovereign, swear to your female servant, saying, Certainly your son Solomon shall reign after me, and shall sit on my throne? Why has Adon become sovereign? Look, while you are still speaking there with the sovereign, let me come in after you and confirm your words. And Bathsheba went into the room to the sovereign. Now the sovereign was very old, and Abigail the Summerite, was serving the sovereign. And Bathsheba bowed and did obedience to the sovereign, and the sovereign said, What do you wish? And she said to him, My master, you swore by Yahweh your Elohim to your female servant, saying, Certainly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne. And now, look, Adon has become sovereign, and now my master the sovereign, you do not know about it. And he has slaughtered great numbers of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sons of the sovereign, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the commander of the army. But he did not invite Solomon your servant. And you, my master, O sovereign, the eyes of all Israel are on you, to declare to them who is going to sit on the throne of my master the sovereign after him. Otherwise it shall be, when my master the sovereign rests with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be considered sinners. And while she was still speaking with the sovereign, Nathan the prophet also came in. So they informed the sovereign, saying, Here is Nathan the prophet. And when he came in before the sovereign, he bowed down before the sovereign with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My master, O sovereign, have you said, Adon shall reign after me, and shall sit on my throne? For he has gone down today, and has slaughtered a great number of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sovereign sons and the commanders of the army. in Eberath the priest, and look, they are eating and drinking before him. And they say, let sovereign Abaddon live. But he has not invited me, your servant, nor Zadok the priest, nor Ben son of Jehoiada, nor your servant Solomon. If this matter is from my master, the sovereign, then you did not let your servant know who should sit on the throne of my master, the sovereign, after him. And sovereign David answered and said, call Bathsheba to me. So she came into the sovereign's presence and stood before the sovereign. And the sovereign took an oath and said, as Yahweh lives, who has ransomed my life out of all distress, even as I swore to you by Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, saying, certainly Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne in my place. Even so I do today. And Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did obedience to the sovereign, and said, let my master sovereign David live forever. And the sovereign David said, call me Sadiq the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Ben-Yah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the sovereign. And the sovereign said to them, take with you the servants of your master, and you shall have Solomon my son ride on my own mule, and take him down to Gibeon. And there Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet shall anoint him sovereign over Israel, and blow the shofar, and say, let sovereign Solomon live. And you shall come up after him, and he shall come and sit on my throne, and he shall reign in my place, for I have commanded him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. And Ben-Yah, son of Judah, answered the sovereign and said, amen. So says Yahweh, Elohim of my master, the sovereign. And as Yahweh has been with my master, the sovereign, let him be with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my master, sovereign David. Then Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Ben-Yah, son of Jehoiada, and the Kertites and the Pelethites went down and had Solomon ride on sovereign David's mule, and took him to Gibeon. And Zadok the priest took a horn of oil from the tent of appointment, and anointed Solomon. And they blew with the shofar, and all the people said, let sovereign Solomon live. And all the people came up after him, and the people played the flutes, and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth was split by their noise. And Adoniah and all the guests who were with him heard it as they had finished eating. And Joab heard the voice of the shofar, and said, why is the city in such a noisy uproar? And he was still speaking, then see, Jonathan came, son of Eberath the priest, and Adoniah said to him, come in, for you are a brave man, and you bring good news. But Jonathan answered and said to Adoniah, no, our master sovereign David has made Solomon sovereign, and the sovereign has sent him with Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Ben-Yah son of Jehoiada, and the Kertites and the Pelethites, and they had him ride on the sovereign's mule. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet had anointed him sovereign at Gibeon. And they have gone up from there rejoicing, and the city is moved. This is the noise you heard. And further, Solomon sits on the throne of the reign. And further, the servants of the sovereign have gone to bless our master, sovereign David, saying, let your Elohim make the name of Solomon better than your name, and his throne greater than your throne. And the sovereign bowed himself on the bed. And the sovereign also said thus, blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, who has given one to sit on my throne this day, while my eyes see it. And all the guests who were invited by Adion were afraid and arose, and each one went his way. And Adion was afraid of Solomon, and rose and went and took hold of the horns of the slaughter place. And it was reported to Solomon, saying, Look, Adion is afraid of sovereign Solomon. And look, he has taken hold of the horns of the slaughter place, saying, Let sovereign Solomon swear to me today that he does not put his servant to death with the sword. And Solomon said, If he proves himself a worthy man, not one hair of him is going to fall to the earth. But if evil is found in him, then he shall die. And sovereign Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the slaughter place. And he came and fell down before sovereign Solomon. And Solomon said to him, Go to your house. Moving on to Psalms 95 on page 701. Come, let us sing to Yahweh. Let us raise a shout to the rock of our deliverance. Let us come before his face with thanksgiving. Let us raise a shout to him in a song. For Yahweh is a great El, and a great sovereign above all mighty ones, in whose hand are the depths of the earth. The mountain peaks are also his. His is the sea, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us bow down and bend low. Let us kneel before Yahweh our Maker. For he is our Elohim, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if you would hear his voice, do not harden your heart as in Meribah, and in this day of Massah in the wilderness, when your fathers tried me. He proved me, though they saw my work. For 40 years I was grieved with that generation, referring to Exodus, and said, They are a people who go astray in their hearts, and they do not know my ways. As I swore in my wrath, if they enter into my rest. Moving on to Proverbs 5 on page 733. My son, listen to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so as to watch over discretion, and your lips guard knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lays hold of Sheol. She does not consider the path of life. Her ways are unstable. You do not know it. So now listen to me, you children, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not come near the door of her house, lest you give your splendor to others, and your years to one who is cruel. These strangers be filled with your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. Then you shall howl in your latter end, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and shall say, How have I hated discipline, and my heart has despised reproof. And I have not heeded the voice of my teachers, and I have not inclined my ear to those who instructed me. In a little while I was in all evil, in the midst of an assembly and congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, rivers of water in the streets? Let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. A loving deer and a pleasant doe, let her nipples satisfy you at all times, and be captivated by her love always. For why should you, my son, be captivated by a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a foreigner? For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahweh, and he considers all his path. The wrong one is entrapped in his own crookedness, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and in the greatness of his folly he goes astray. On to Book of John, chapter 12, on page 1038. According to Yeshua, 6 days before Pesach came to Beth Anam, where Eleazar was, who had died, and whom he had raised from the dead. So they made him a supper there, and Martha served, and Eleazar, Lazarus, was one of those who sat at the table with him. Then Miriam took a pound of costly perfume of nard, anointed the feet of Yeshua, wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. Then one of his taught ones, Judas, son of Simon, who was about to deliver him up, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor?" And he said this not because he was concerned about the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and used to take what was put in it. Yeshua then said, "Let her alone. She has kept this for the day of my burial. For the poor you have with you always, but me you do not always have. You do not have always." Then a great crowd of the Judean learned that he was there. They came, and on account of Yeshua only, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priests resolved to kill Lazarus as well, because on account of him many of the Judean went away and believed in Yeshua. On the next day, a great crowd who had come to the festival, when they heard that Yeshua was coming to Jerusalem, took the branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, and were crying, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahweh." Psalms 118, 26 and 25. Sovereign of Israel. And Yeshua, having found a young donkey, sat on it, as it was written, "Do not fear, daughter of Tyson. See, your sovereign is coming, sitting on a colt of a donkey." Ezekiel 9:9. At first the taught ones did not understand this, but when Yeshua was esteemed, then they remembered that this was written about him, and that they had done this to him. Therefore the crowd who were with him, when he had called Lazarus out of his tomb and raised him from the dead, were bearing witness on account of this crowd, also meet him, because they heard that he had done this sign. And the Pharisees then said amongst themselves, "You see how you are getting nowhere at all. Look, the world has gone after him." And there was a certain Greeks among those coming up to worship at the festival. These then came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida of Galilee, and asking him, saying, "Master, we wish to see Yeshua." Philip came and told Andre, and in turn Andre and Philip told Yeshua. And Yeshua answered them, saying, "The hour has come for the Son of Adam to be esteemed. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. He who goes his life shall lose it. He who loves his life shall lose it, and he who hates his life in this world shall preserve it for everlasting life. If anyone serves me, let him follow me, and where I am, where my servant also shall be. If anyone serves me, the Father shall value him. Now I myself am troubled. And what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? But for this reason I came to this hour. Father, esteem your name. Then a voice came from the heaven. I have both esteemed it, and it shall esteem it again. So the crowd who stood by and heard were saying, there had been thunder. Others said, a messenger had spoken to him. Yeshua answered and said, this voice did not come because of me, but for your sake. Now is the judgment of this world. Now the ruler of this world shall be cast out. And I am lifted up from the earth, shall draw all men unto myself. Then he said, signifying by what death he was about to die. The crowd answered him, we have heard out of the Torah that the Messiah remains forever. How do you say that the son of Adam has to be lifted up? Who is this son of Adam? Yeshua therefore said to them, yet a little while the light is with you. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness overtake you. And he who walks in darkness does know where he is going. While you have the light, believe in the light, so that you become sons of the light. These words Yeshua spoke and went off and was hidden from them. But though he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him. And the word of Isaiah the prophet must be filled, which he spoke. Yahweh, who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of Yahweh been revealed. Isaiah 53:1. Because of this, they are unable to believe. Because again, Isaiah said, he was blinded by their eyes and hardened their heart. He has blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, so that they should not see their eyes and understand their hearts, and turn, and I should heal them. Isaiah 6:10. Isaiah said this when he saw his esteem and spoke of him. Still, even among the rulers, many did believe in him, but because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the congregation. For they loved the praise of men more than the praise of Elohim. Then Yeshua cried out and said, he who believes in me believes not in me, but in him who sent me. And he who sees me sees him who sent me. I have come as a light to the world, so that no one who believes in me should stay in darkness. And if anyone hears my words, but does not watch over them, I do not judge him. For I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. He who rejects me and does not receive my words has one who judges him. The word that I have spoken shall judge him in the last day. Revelations. Because I spoke not for myself, or from myself, but the Father who sent me and has given me a command that I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his command is everlasting life. Therefore, whatever I speak, as the Father has said to me, so I speak. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.